A few years ago, I was preparing myself for my first visit to India. So the people who I know started to ask me what India has apart from slums, yoga and Bollywood. Many of my well-wishers warned me about my safety in India, as they had heard the news of rapes from media. But they got completely shocked when I explained to them that actually our own Western countries have a lot more rapes than India, and the correct way to understand the statistics of a crime is not by numbers, but by proportions. Due to a massive population that India has, the numbers of a crime can easily go very high, but in proportions, India is so much better than us. Only when I explained this to my well-wishers, they realized how our media had been manipulating us, and it still continues to do so. Whenever I am back in Poland or in any part of Europe, I am asked if India is interesting to travel at all. So many people around the world have a very low awareness about this country, and today I am going to tell my friends and the world citizens about India. Before I start to tell you what this country has, let me start it with a small example that one can so easily see on the streets of India. We all know how an average poor man in Europe finds it nearly impossible to take his family out to the cinemas, entertainment parks, or for a dinner, because they all cost a lot of money. In Europe, for a person on a very low budget, buying new clothes or traveling out of the city with their family is probably a dream that unfortunately never comes true. The truth is that for most of the people in Europe who have less money, eating out is mostly restricted to kebabs or just buying a bread from a supermarket, because the lifestyle in Europe is such that there are just not too many options for a poor. But in India, there are cinemas, entertainment parks, restaurants and markets that are not just for the elite and the middle class, but also for those who are on a very low budget. In India, a poor can also buy new clothes or gifts for his loved ones, because there are so many affordable markets that are well within their reach. In India, a poor person who has a very low budget can also afford to dine out with family to enjoy those joyful family moments. And trust me, in such affordable markets, they are also selling exotic Chinese food or even an Italian pasta. How many poors in Europe can afford exotic multi-cuisine meals or a travel within their country in trains or buses? In India, there are just so many types of options and lifestyles which come in all kinds of budgets. A full meal starts from 10 rupees and can go as high as anywhere else in the world. There are multiple price categories in buses, trains, its cinemas, and in everything else to suit everybody's budget. And just to let you know, all these businesses make profits too. The super low cost and affordable markets of India are also visited by the middle class people, and many times even the richest, because they got a good bargain or they just love the atmosphere of such places that are so full of life and energy. And this is how India nourishes and protects all her citizens, by giving them so many different opportunities in different budgets, and these so many parallel lifestyles that are mingled together is a sight to see, which continues to mesmerize me every day. I like to travel in India because it has a plenty to offer. Whether you are on a shoestring budget, a middle-class traveler, or someone who wants to be pampered with the highest luxury. Whether you are a tourist, a professional, a spirituality seeker, or someone who wants to be benefited by India's medical tourism, this country welcomes everyone without any prejudice, from its salt flats to its rainforest, from its pristine islands to its volcanoes, from its cold desert of Ladakh to its great Thar desert of Rajasthan and Gujarat, from its rich jungle safaris to its mysterious ancient tribes who continue their story even today. India can literally overwhelm you. And the story goes on in the tea and coffee plantations of its northeast and its south, and also in its beaches of the 7,000-kilometer plus coastal line. Feel the intensity of the famous Chadar trek in the mighty Himalayas, or see how the life manifests in the freezing temperatures of Tawang, or simply admire its hundreds of waterfalls